the reason I like strategic partnerships, and when I talk about partnerships, there's really two types of partnerships. There's business partnerships where you bring someone into the business and it's an equity deal. So you're saying, hey, we're going to build this thing together. We're going to divide and conquer. We're each going to have shares and stock in the company. And then you're going to be responsible for this. I'm going to be responsible for that. I've done, I can't tell you how many business partnerships over the years that all started that way. So, and this call isn't that, although we can set up a separate call that goes very specifically about how to set up business partnerships. But what I'm talking about is the other type of partnership, which is strategic partnerships. And this is where you're your own business, I'm my own business, but we're going to find a way to create some middle ground so we can both benefit from this relationship. The reason I like these is because it allows us to extend our network and extend our reach. So I'll just use me as the case study as a business consultant. When I got started, let's say 20 years ago, doing this stuff, I didn't know how to grow a business like this, an independent consultant practice. So I figured, well, there's other people out there that know about this. There's other people that have done this type of work. There's people that, have built entire businesses around this, know how to marketing. If I could just access them, then I'll be able to build my business that way. So I looked for a lot of opportunities. One of the things very early on, because I started out in action sports and skateboarding and fashion and apparel, is I went to the big trade show. There was a trade show that happened 2 times a year. Now it's like Magic and Agenda and all these larger trade shows. But in my day, it was called the Action Sports Retailer. And they would have these panels and they would have speakers. And I just went and I talked to the head of partnerships at the trade show. And I said, hey, do you mind if I speak to retailers? I'll put together, a free seminar on how to market your retail store. And the guy's like, sure, why not? So he just gave me a spot. I didn't have to pay for it. He gave me a spot and I wrote a book leading up to it on how to start a skate shop. And we were talking light years ago. And I was able to get on stage and speak to a room full of retailers from all around the world that were traveling to this trade show on, I think the topic was 50 ways to market your business. And again, this is way pre-social media. So this had nothing to do with how to market your social media. We're talking print and events and things like that. But as you would imagine, at the end of the trade show, everyone comes and walks up to me and says, hey, that was really great. How do I work with you? So it was a really easy way, but that partnership component is a partnership I built with ASR, the trade show. So my guy, Dan, at the time, who was the head of partnerships over there, I just made sure he was my best friend. And I said, hey, Dan, what can I do for you? And he's like, well, we always need new brands. I said, great. Let me introduce you to new brands. So I would just, any new brand I met, here's Dan, here's Dan, here's Dan. And I just load them up, load them up, load them up. So Dan's like, hey, you want to speak at the next event? Of course I want to speak at the next event. Never charged me, right? So I had all these opportunities. Funny story is, the last time I was supposed to speak at an event, I was getting ready to head to the subway to go down to San Diego, and my wife went into labor. So I wasn't able to speak at that event. But so that's just one little example that has paid off. So what I did from that point on was just try to multiply that effort and try to do more of those. When you build a strategic relationship, in many cases, we're asking them to send us business. So I say, hey, Vittorio, send me some business, but we got to give first. So that's really the key, is like, what can I give you first and then reciprocate? What I've noticed over the years is that a good strategic partner, in most cases, is worth about 3 to 4 really good introductions a year. Just a solid partner. That's a benchmark that you can just put in your pocket. So if I create a new strategic partnership here with Vittorio, I can expect at some regard that he's going to send me 2 or 3 pieces of business this year, at least introductions. They may or may not turn into business, but I think Vittorio's worth about 2 or 3 intros this year. If I manage my relationship with Vittorio appropriately, hang out with him, get coffee, check in on him, do that kind of thing. And vice versa, I'm probably worth maybe 2 or 3 intros to Vittorio. So if you multiply your strategic partnerships and you think, well, I'm going to build a strategic partner network of 30, 40, 50 people, right? And then every one of them is worth 2 to 3 intros a year. Now, once you've built that network, you're getting, 100, 200 introductions every year if you're appropriately managing the strategic network that you've built. This is the gem. This is the nugget that you got to take with you. So there's no limit to the volume of strategic partners that you can have. The out of sight, out of mind, absolutely plays into partnerships. If I don't call Simon for a full year, I can't expect him to think about me. I just can't. And why would he? He's busy. He's got a kid. He's got a life. He's got stuff, all kinds of stuff going on. But if I hit him up and say, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. Let's hang. Right? He'll be like, yeah, oh, sure, of course. Maybe I'm busy this week or this month, but next month, fine. Again, I'm just trying to be in your stream of consciousness. So you got to treat these relationships with care. I mean, that's a key piece. You can monetize these relationships and you don't have to. FYI. I don't need to be in everybody's pocket, and you don't need to be in mine. If you want to be, we can. If you say, hey, can I give you 10% on anything I send your way? Sure, send me the agreement, I'll sign it, no problem. But it doesn't always need to be. So in my world, if I send somebody a lead, in most cases, I don't need to monetize it because I've already monetized it 5 other ways behind the scenes. All I need to make sure is that you're taking care of the relationship, because relationships are everything. And that's the way most strategic partners operate. So if I send someone your way, if I'm like, hey, I need you to take care of this thing. I need it to be perfect because my good name is riding on this thing. I don't need any 10% commission or anything. I don't care about it. Whatever $1,000 I could have made off this thing, it's irrelevant because I've had this relationship for so long. However, if I have a whale and I know this deal is going to generate thousands of dollars for both of us, of course, we're going to have a conversation about it. So again, you can tamper your need to monetize these relationships up and down based upon what you're dealing with at any given time. As long as you have a good relationship built with this person or individual, you can just have an open conversation. Name of the game is win-win, right? You're winning, I'm winning. Awesome. We're going to keep working together. You do have to be vocal. I want to say this, that the partnerships don't come to you. They do not come to you. You have to go to them. There's an old saying that opportunity knocks softly, so listen carefully. Sometimes you already have all those relationships, you're just not listening for them. And are really not paying attention. They're probably already there. I mean, one of the things I tell people right off the bat, and my brother would probably say the same, it's like, oh, you want to increase your revenue and get your sales network? Like, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone. Let's go through your contacts. Have you called every person here? Right? Or let's just prioritize who's in the phone. Who's worth taking a coffee? Who's worth taking a lunch? We're all in business to make something happen. That's the other thing is, I mean, there's no mystery about what we're trying to do. Ben, I'm trying to put money in my pocket. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. I've known Ben for a long time. We know that, right? There's no mystery here. We're homies, we're friends. This doesn't mean we can't transact. So it's not some big mystery. If I contact someone on LinkedIn and I say, hey, I saw that you're in this business and I'm in this business, and I think there's some synergy between us. Let's talk. In most cases, I'll take those phone calls all day long. I think anybody would, if you're in the right frame of mind. The big hack is I always look at job boards too. And I look for someone that's looking to hire strategic partner director or something like that. I should reach out to those people. Hey, I saw you're looking for strategic partner director on the board. Love to learn more about that role. I'm not looking for a job per se, but I have a pretty large network, maybe my network and your network, or let's talk. Let's just have a conversation, right? The great part about strategic partnerships, in my opinion, is they're free in most cases to build, right? And in most regards, people want to take that phone call because it means some additional revenue for them. Most people will take a strategic partner's phone call. So if I said, hey, Simon, I got this thing I want to sell you. I got this new software. And you're like, I'm so busy. You're not even gonna get past the first line. But if I said, hey, can we build a strategic partnership with your firm and my firm? I mean, we do this thing, but I'd like to more just talk about the partnership. You're like, okay, well, it doesn't sound like you're selling me something. So what's a phone call? I will tell you firsthand that I've seen a few partnerships in all my years of consulting. I've seen in many cases, very large businesses just have a few partnerships, and those few partnerships just fuel the entire business. they can fuel an entire business, a multi-million-dollar business, if you have just one or two relationships in tow. So if you think of the major players, so like, again, Simon, if CAA was like, yeah, we'd love to do a partnership with you, that's one relationship that's going to fuel your business for the rest of your life. You can create generational wealth off of one partnership. See it all the time. We've had at the agency that I mentioned, we've had very large relationships. In my own consulting career, I've created a few relationships with a handful of boutique firms. That's where I get the large majority of consulting business from. They just call me. Hey, we got this assignment. We're not a good fit for it now. Or, hey, do you want to lead this thing? Or you mind taking a look at it? Or blah, 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 blah. It's really just a handful, just a couple, so you can do pretty well just off a handful of partnerships. I would give yourself like a big goal to create more partnerships depending on whatever business you're in. Again, this doesn't have to only be B2B. It could be B2C. And I'll tell you why. When I still run apparel company, I would always look for events to partner, right? Sure, maybe I'm just a sponsor, but what else can I do at the event? Sponsor with nonprofits, sponsor with this, sponsor with that. We just always look for opportunities to partner. And partner is a broad term, right? I mean, it could mean a lot of things, strategic partnerships and things of that nature. FYI, it is okay to pay to play. It is okay to pay to play. So if you want to be, let's say, a renowned speaker, and that's your job, you want to be a speaker, you want to speak all over the world, and somebody presents you with an opportunity. This is one of the ways we built one of the agencies I'm a partner in, is we just paid to be on stages. So it's a paid sponsorship. I'll call it a strategic partnership and say, yeah, how do we partner with your event, with your financial event? Well, we only have paid opportunities right now. Okay, so it's a paid partnership. So if I pay, I'm buying the relationship. Yep. Okay, tell me more. Well, for $10,000, you get X. Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, for $10,000, I could buy a relationship. Yes, wonderful. Can I get the email list after? Can I get on stage? Can I do some VIP stuff? How do I get more out of this thing? More. So, you could buy your way in the door, but once you buy your way in, and we've done this in the media for years, especially as an apparel brand, we buy our way into the media, and now they're always thinking about us. Do you want to be in the holiday guide? Do you want to be in the Black Friday guide? Do you want to be in this? We're doing an event. You want to be part of this? We buy our relationships. And when you're getting started, you don't have a whole lot of money, so it's hard to do that. But once you get a little cash, buying those types of strategic partnerships, strategic relationships is just going to keep paying its dividend. Just a few more things I want to mention on this. A beauty of building strategic partnerships is you can play this one-to-many game versus the one-to-one. So I'll give you an example. If you partner with a CPA, for example, if you're in the business services like I am, a CPA might deal with 100 businesses in a year, right? So if I can create a one-to-one with a CPA, I'm really creating a one-to-many if I can get access to his network of businesses, right? So instead of me trying to sell one business, why don't I just sell one CPA or do one partnership with someone that has access to hundreds of businesses? It's like that CAA thing. It's like I can try to sell one production company, or let me go sell the one guy that has access to hundreds of production companies. My time is maybe better spent there potentially, right? We have to figure out that bit. Let's see if I'm leaving anything out. There's something called the Dunbar's Top 150. I don't know if you ever heard of this. There was I don't know what this guy was, but he was a researcher, and he said that a human can only manage 150 relationships. And I think 5 of those are going to be your inner circle, your closest friends. Then it goes to like your clan, and then your tribe, and so on and so forth. So just think about your 150. I always challenge everyone to start a list of 100, like who's on your top 100 list. I cycle people in and out. I could show you my 100 list, but I cycle people in and out constantly. Who should be on that list? Who should be off? Why did someone fall off the list? Is because I haven't talked to them in maybe 6, 7 months, a year, 2 years, right? There's probably in any business. Maybe they quit their job, they close their business. So they just cycle out. I just cycle more people in. And then I use LinkedIn religiously. So the takeaway on this, and I could talk forever, but the takeaway on this is whatever you're building, leverage strategic partnerships to help you scale and increase your reach and your revenue.